Good morning, students. We are studying the chapter that is named after your book, that is, or your book will be named after that chapter, that is Footprints Without Feet. So, we have studied that Griffin, a scientist, he has discovered some drug that made human beings invisible by making their body transparent. So, he went to a village named Ipping. There he was living in an inn. Inn is a small kind of motel. He wanted solitude there, and afterwards the money he has robbed from a person, from a shopkeeper in London, that has also been finished, and now he had stolen a money from a clergyman, and clergyman was quite surprised that he has heard the noise from his room, and he has seen that someone has taken the money, but he was not able to trace the person there, and some other extraordinary things happened in the inn also. So let us begin. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. So that incident that happened at clergyman's house, that was normal, but certain extraordinary things happened at the inn. The landlord and his wife were up very early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. So the landlord and his wife, Mr. Hall and Mrs. Hall, wake up early at that day, and they went upstairs where he was living. Griffin, he was living, and they were surprised that the door of his room, it was widely open. Otherwise, usually it is shut, and he did not like anyone to enter his room. But today it was wide open. So then the opportunity seemed too good to be missed. So they thought it is a good opportunity, it's a good chance to peep inside his room. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. So they peeped quietly, they just saw inside the room. They saw that there wasn't anyone, and they thought that we should investigate, we should observe the things over there. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. And stranger still, the clothes and bandages that were always wore were lying about the room. And they saw they saw that bedclothes were all cold. That means the scientist was not there for a long time, and even the bandages and all the clothes, they were also not worn by him, they were also in the room only. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. At that time only, Mrs. Hall, he heard certain light sound nearby her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her face. So, at that time, what happened? The hat that was on the bed, that got up by itself, and it was on the face of Mrs. Hall. Then the bedroom chair became alive. Then the bedroom chair also started moving. Springing into the air, it charged straight at her, legs foremost. She, as she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. So at that time only, that chair also that was flung by, you can just imagine, that was done by Griffin only, and because of this act, they both were afraid, and from with that chair they both were thrown outside of the room, and then the door closed. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff. Then Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. So she was so surprised, she was so afraid, she was almost fell down. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits, and that the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. So she she was just thinking that there was some spirit, there were some spirits over there, ghosts were there, and that scientist allowed them, or made them went to their furniture. My poor mother used to sit in that chair. She moaned to think it should rise up against me now. Then she was remembering that her mother used to sit in that chair. She was feeling so bad. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. So afterwards, they all were thinking that some kind of magic was there, some kind of black magic was there in that. And afterwards, when they came to know about the news of that theft in clergyman's house, all the people of the village, they were thinking that it must be the scientist behind these things. Then suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before he had no money. At that time only, suddenly he had cash. So they all thought he has done this. The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. So, they were quite surprised because when the door was closed, no one was there. But mysteriously, without any proper reasons, he was there in that empty room. So, Mrs. Hall, became more suspicious. I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs, she demanded. And I want to know how it is you come out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. Then, at that time only, she asked, she investigated. Then tell me, I want to know that what you are doing to my chair upstairs and how you get in that room when the room is locked. The scientist was always quick tempered. Now he became furious. You don't understand who or what I am, he shouted. Very well, I will show you. Then at that time only, that scientist was, short tempered. He became angry, uh, uh, you know, so early. His nature was so short tempered. Then he shouted, you don't understand who I am? I will show you. Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles. At that time only, in anger, he threw off all his bandages. You can see in the picture that he has put on the face. He took out all the things, and it took him only a minute to do this. In a minute, he put off all the things he was wearing. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at a headless man. They were all afraid, and they thought that it's a headless man. Mr. Jeffers, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. So at that time only, they all become so surprised and they were afraid. But Jeffers was easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person arrest that, then that person had to be arrested, with or without head. So he thought that I need to arrest this person whether he has a head or not. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. So the policeman was trying to hold him, but at that time only, he was taking out of his clothes and he was becoming more and more invisible. Finally, he threw his shirt in the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. Now, without the shirt, he was not able to see him. Some people tried to help him but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. You know, people were trying to help him, help the policeman, but they were hit by the blows by the scientist because he was invisible. In the end, Jeffers was knocked unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on the unseen scientist. There were nervous, excited cries of hold him, but this was easier said than done. Griffin had shaken himself free and no one knew where to lay hands on him. So at last, Griffin made himself freed and he ran away from that place. So it is written by H.G. Wells. So, students, this is the text of the chapter. Other things we will discuss about the chapter afterwards. Very important chapter and interesting also. You are supposed to read this chapter accordingly, according to the importance. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.